people pleasing, and how eventually it leads to displeasing the only human we should be aiming to please, and that's ourselves. So within a day or so of me receiving this space, I'd already opened it up to allow somebody else to sleep here, to share the warm space, the food, because that man has had less experience sleeping outside, living on the streets than me, and also he hadn't slept in a bed for 4 months, and he is nearing 60 years old, so I empathised, and I said to him, you don't have to stay on the streets, you shouldn't have to stay on the streets, so that's the justice we can reach. But today I told him that he will have to find somewhere else to sleep tonight, because I haven't been taking care of myself by giving myself what I need, and if I give away something that I need, I can't get that out of somebody else. I can't just go and find another room in another house for me to have my own space and to have the choice to sleep in this room alone or not. So after 3 nights, and bearing in mind that this man does have a tent, David, my friend, who I've met since I've been here in Doncaster, he has a tent and a sleeping bag, and it's not ideal, and he's been let down by different organisations, or they've just not been very rapid in delivering what they promise, or he hasn't received the help, and I did instantly, and so I shared that bounty, that luck. But I haven't tidied this room since it's been here. I intended to do that today, but I ended up having quite a significant sleep instead. And so it's like I need to grant myself tonight, tomorrow, to wake up, to get straight into it, or to just be free. I mentioned in the message that I sent to him that I've always been a people pleaser, but it ends today because it upsets me to see how easily I give everything away for free. Even though that is my heart, that is the heaven, that is the world I wish to see, I can't leave a deficit within myself. Sitting with all these intrusive thoughts that want to tell me it's selfish, and we've spoke about this, sacrifice is part of this game, but we give freely of ourselves, but we can't sacrifice everything, because we're just human, even though we're so much more. So, to cater to the humanistic comforts is really part of the work. And it would have been easier up to the point where it became extremely difficult to just allow what has been happening to carry on happening. and for David to have this space as well. Mi casa es su casa, but if mi casa is not my casa, you know? I need to make a home for myself first and foremost. And sure, invite people into that world. But David will be blessed with his own space soon. I believe I have inadvertently taught him enough to help him know what he wants, how to get it, or not, you know. I don't consciously try to teach people. I just share my experience, the wisdom that has come from life experiences. Also seeing where I was using spending time with other people as a form of avoidance and calling it service. Because ultimately, don't even know how far I want to roll back the clock and set a point, but from a particular point onwards, there was a lot of my life which I have not integrated properly. Because of the lifestyle, the choices I have chosen, the path that I have walked, I haven't really been intentionally still. In order to do that, I have to have a clear schedule. Because emotion, healing, it doesn't pre-announce itself. It just happens. It just comes through. When the environment is fine-tuned for that. So aloneness is the only way, really. To do what I said to myself. I promised myself a week. I give myself a week, and that week has not started. Or it has reset because it didn't start in the manner that I needed it to. We can empathise with the plight of others. But everybody has their own path. The line of reasoning that says, I understand justice, I understand fairness, equality. That line of reasoning only stretches so far before it becomes untenable, because if they stood up, I could probably fit 100 people in this room and take them off the streets. And I might be able to feed them for one day and one night. But there's a bigger picture, there's an underlying issue that runs through all of life's problems. And that is that people don't know themselves, or they're not willing to, or they don't know how to. Like, we have to force ourselves to be alone which is bullshit because we are all amazing. So what is it that tempts us to believe that we can't be alone? We don't want to be sitting on our own with just our thoughts, just our own energy and our consciousness. See, that's not the case for me. I love being on my own, but I also love knowing that I'm providing some sort of service. If there's some sort of validation, some sort of measure of my being that's reflected, like, providing shelter for somebody, helping them to not be so scared out there in a scary world, or a world that they might see as scary. But I am no saviour. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the guru. I am a healer, of course, because we all are. But the power of my healing is only relative to how far inward I have turned that healing energy. To share a room with somebody, to sleep in the same room as somebody, can be a very energy intensive process. If you think about energy fields and spirits and, to hold the space while somebody else is in the dream state. I was staying in the spare room of a lady named Joanne once in near Chorley, Greater Manchester. She had allowed me to sleep in the shed in the garage, but it was winter and she allowed me inside the house because it was cold. And her room was next door, and one morning, when I got up, I said, "How did you sleep?" She said, "I slept well, considering I had a dream that I was being attacked by demons. And then you were stood in the doorway like an angel, and it stopped." I'm not taking credit for that. I'm not saying, "Look at me go." There is a higher power that works through me, not just me. If we over-sympathise with others, we may be enabling rather than helping. If we just lay all the answers out at the feet of everybody, then nobody ever has to self-inquire. They never have to look within. They never have to try and work out what they actually want from their life, because they'll just take what they can get. It's the path of least resistance. And it might not be ultimately what they want, but if it's better than what they had before, or an alternative option which is less preferable, then humans will take that. Not many would consciously choose the more difficult route in this life. Because life's hard enough. But if our actions and words aren't inspiring people to delve deeper within their self, then we're doing them a great disservice. I have no problem with sharing. I love sharing. It is a gift to be able to give. But what if the resources we're sharing are only half as potent, are only half allowed to replenish themselves? Then we're spreading ourselves thin. We're not receiving what our heart and soul needs. And we're also not serving to full capacity. Just because somebody can take our half measures, it doesn't mean that it's serving ultimately. Everybody deserves the choice to be able to say, right, that's it. I'm going to go a whole month without speaking to another human. I'm just going to lock it down. I'm going to get in my room. I'm going to read. I'm going to build myself up so that I feel inspired and motivated. And I'm going to grab the bull by the horns. I'm going to get tunnel vision. I'm going to start building my life around routine and structure. My life has not been structured at all. My routines have been unhealthy at best. The more we blend energies with other humans in this life, and it occurs to me this is why we have all been distanced from each other, right? We're different parts of the world, different, until the time comes when we properly assemble and gather in this life. The more you blend energies, the more time you spend with another human in their energy field, the further away from yourself you drift. The more confusion, the more thoughts you have to entertain which aren't your own, energy which is not yours. The more words, consciousness attempts to blend into your own unique knowing. And all of this is invisible. So I'm giving myself, one day at a time, to be completely in my own energy field, whilst giving myself the choice to step out of that. In this life, I've mostly lived as a human who considers what I'm going to do relative to what other people are doing, what's going on out there, what I could do, what I think I should do. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of doing, not a lot of being. Just being. No obligation, no assumed responsibility. Just lying on the carpet for a month. Just sitting in the silence, drinking it in, appreciating how much my life has changed, how much I have changed. Although let's not forget, I am. Doesn't change. Maybe I've been so invested in being love for others that I really got distracted from what it means to be love for myself. To reflect that love, which is infinite and indestructible, back towards me, to hold the space for me, because I don't see anybody else doing that, and quite rightly so. Everything's changing. Everything's changing. There are massive opportunities on the horizon. I feel this in my core. So today, on the day that people pleasing has officially ended, I welcome new opportunities as I put an end to old patterns. We love a bit of it, don't we? Telling ourselves how good we are based on our actions, and yeah, faith without works is dead. But simply, works rooted in fear is not faith. So that's also dead. And I'm more than ready to live